All right, the next thing that we want to get practice with is using all those properties in our work. And so the first skill that we are going to use to practice that is expanding it out. So what you're going to see is a very, very compact expression, and it's going to require us to write it in terms of multiple logarithms. So we need to have our properties of logarithms handy, or our log laws handy. Now, when you progress through these types of problems, I recommend the following process, or kind of this mental checklist every step along the way. I'll also mention it may not always work, but generally in my experience it is a good starting place. So first, I recommend trying to use the power law. So if you see something with or the expression inside the logarithm has a common exponent to everything, take that exponent out in front. Okay, then use the quotient to difference law. So if you have a quotient inside, write that as a difference of logarithms. Okay, and I'll also mention that if you did use the power law and you have a coefficient out in front, you're going to have to apply that coefficient to every logarithm. And then lastly, use the practice sum. Okay, so I will do one example and then I'll have you pause the video, try another, and then there will be a quiz question. Okay, so first thing, we have log base 2 of 2x to the 4th. Now, as I go through this, I'm going to first try to use the power law. Well, is there an exponent present? Yeah, there's a 4, but is it on everything? No. So I can't pull the 4 out in front. Okay? So I can't use the power law. Quotient to difference law. Well, there's no quotient. Skip that one. Product to sum. Yep, there's a product. There's a multiplication sign there, so I'm going to use that. And when I use the product to sum, I'm going to write it as log base 2 of 2 and then plus log base 2 of x to the 4th. Okay? Now, once I've used one of them, I need to restart this entire process. Okay? So now, is there a power present? Not in the first one. In the second one, yeah, there is. So I'm going to just rewrite the first one. And then the 4 in the exponent on x is going to come out in front as a coefficient of the logarithm. Okay, and then after this, so then I've used the power law. Can I use quotient to difference? Nope. Can I use the product to sum? Nope. Are there any more powers? Nope. Okay, so I'm pretty much fully expanded. The only thing I can do is simplify, and if we remember correctly, there's an exponent of 1 here. Log base 2 of 2 to the 1st would just simplify to 1, and then plus 4 log base 2 of x. Okay. So that's the first one. Okay. Now I want you to pause the video, try the second one, and then I'll write out my solution and then we'll kind of go through it. And here's my solution. So first thing I did is I just wrote the square root as a fractional exponent of 1/2. And with that 1/2, I pulled it out in front as a coefficient because it was an exponent on the entire thing. So I used the power law. Okay. And then I got here, and then I said, okay, well, now is there another power? Nope. And so then I went on to the quotient to difference law. Okay, quotient difference, separated it out. Okay, and then stopped here, asked myself, power law, can I use the power law? Nope. Can I use the quotient law? Nope. No more quotients present. Can I use the product to sum? Yep, I can, because there's a product between 32 and x. So then I broke that up. And note, all this time, the 1/2 is out in front. You can distribute it if you want. I just didn't. And then last thing, and then at this point, nothing left to do. So all I did was simplify the ln of e to 1. And you can punch that in your calculator and see that it's indeed 1. And this would be the final answer. If you wanted to distribute the 1/2, feel free. If you wanted to leave it like this, hey, fine. The last thing I'll say is that sometimes as you get more experience with this, you don't have to show all the steps. Is that okay? Yeah, but just if you're first learning this, or if it's kind of new to you, I recommend going slowly and doing one step at a time rather than doing multiple steps, because you're more prone to error. All right, so the idea of expanding that is shown here, really we're taking a compact expression and writing it in terms of multiple logarithms, and that's really all we're doing. So that's going to be the end of this video, and so we'll conclude with a quiz question now.